Hello, assalamu alaikum my dear friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we will discuss mixtures and its types. In the previous lecture we discussed about the chemical classification of matter, where we learned that according to chemical classification matter can exist as pure substances, and mixtures. As already discussed in the previous lecture, that pure substances are those substances which are made up of only one type of atoms or one type of molecules. Pure substances are made up of one type of atoms or one type of molecules. हर वो चीज़ जिसमें खाली एक तरह के एटम्स प्रेजेंट हो, आइडेंटिकल एटम्स प्रेजेंट हो, उस चीज़ को हम क्या बोलते हैं? प्योर सब्सटेंस. लाइक वी हैव ऑलरेडी टेकन एग्जांपल इन द प्रीवियस लेक्चर. सी वायर्स, copper wires are pure substances because they are made up of only copper atoms. And all elements and compounds are pure substances because they are made up of only one type of atoms. And then we also discussed about the difference between atoms, elements, molecules and compounds. Now in today's lecture we will discuss mixtures and its types. Mixtures are those substances where we have more than two pure substances. All the substances which contains two or more than two pure substances, we call them mixtures. So mixtures are those substances, any substance made up of two or more than two pure substances. We call it mixture. सो मिक्सचर वो सब्सटेंस है, वो चीज़ है जिसमें एक से ज़्यादा प्योर सब्सटेंसेस प्रेजेंट हो. लाइक वी हैव एग्जाम्पल्स, वी हैव मिल्क, we have air, we have blood, or we have a cup of tea. Milk is not scientifically pure because in milk we have fat, we have proteins, we have vitamins, we have calcium. Likewise in air we have nitrogen gas, we have carbon dioxide gas, we have oxygen gas, and we have argon, and we have the other gases. So all these substances contain two or more than two pure substances. That is why we call them mixtures. Now this mixture has two types. One is homogeneous mixture, and the second one is heterogeneous mixture. Let us discuss first homogeneous mixture. Homogeneous mixture. A mixture is said to be homogeneous if its composition is uniform throughout. Let me write its definition first, then we will explain it. A mixture is said to be homogeneous if its composition is uniform throughout. What does that mean? That any mixture has a definite composition, that is, a mixture is made up of its compounds, its constituent particles. Suppose if we took a day-to-day example of homogeneous mixture, that is a cup of tea. A cup of tea. In a cup of tea, we have its components, that is milk, sugar, tea leaves, and sometimes water. These are the components of milk. The components in a cup of tea are arranged and distributed equally. There is equal arrangement and distribution of constituent particles. That is what we called uniform composition. Uniform composition. Suppose ये हमारे पास एक कप ऑफ टी है, इसमें प्रेजेंट है शुगर, मिल्क, we have tea leaves, we have water sometimes. These components are equally arranged and distributed. That is, the amount of sugar, milk, tea leaves, water present at the surface of the tea is same. The amount of sugar, milk, and water or tea leaves present at the bulk of a cup of a tea. जब हम चाय का पहला सिप लेते हैं, when we take the first sip of this milk, this tea, sorry, when we take the first sip of tea, the amount of sugar, the amount of milk, the amount of tea present in the first sip is same amount of sugar, milk and tea leaves present in the last sip. मतलब ये है कि जब हम चाय पीते हैं, जितना चीनी पहले सिप में प्रेजेंट होता है, उतनी ही चीनी लास्ट सिप में भी प्रेजेंट होती है. यानी कि शुगर, मिल्क, जो भी कंपोनेंट्स होते हैं एक कप ऑफ टी के, वो इक्वली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड है. जितना शुगर यहाँ पे प्रेजेंट है, उतना ही शुगर यहाँ पे भी प्रेजेंट होगा, उतना ही यहाँ पे भी प्रेजेंट होगा, उतना ही यहाँ पे भी प्रेजेंट, यानी कि इक्वल अरेंजमेंट, देयर इज इक्वल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन of constituent particles of a mixture. When we have equal distribution of constituent particles of a mixture, we call it homogeneous mixture. Every sample of a homogeneous mixture will show same amount of each substance. हर एक सैंपल में सेम अमाउंट ऑफ each substance होगा. That is why we say that a homogeneous mixture has uniform composition. That is, its components are equally arranged and distributed throughout the mixture. Now coming to the second point. The second point is the components of a homogeneous mixture are not visible with the naked eye. Components of homogeneous mixture are not visible with naked eye. यानी कि जो एक होमोजीनियस मिक्सचर के कंपोनेंट्स हैं वो हम अपनी आंखों से नहीं देख सकते हैं, क्योंकि दीज कंपोनेंट्स डिजॉल्व इन ईच अदर. अगर हम सेम एग्जांपल लेंगे, ए कप ऑफ टी, can you distinctly see individual particles of milk, individual particles of tea leaves, individual particles of sugar. We can't see the individual particles because these particles in a cup of tea or dissolve in each other. So that is why the homogeneous mixture, the components of a homogeneous mixture are not visible with the naked eye. The third point is homogeneous mixture has only one phase. It has only one phase. What does that mean? One phase. Only one phase. Homogeneous mixture contains only one phase. यानी कि इसमें एक ही phase है because the different components are not separated by boundaries. यहाँ पे case ऐसा नहीं है. The case is not like this. We have sugar here and the milk will be here and the tea leaves will be here and the water will be here. यानी कि ये चीज़ें अलग अलग नहीं होगी. They are not separated by boundaries. They are not separated by any boundary. They are arranged equally. They are arranged and distributed equally. We don't have separate boundaries. That is why we say a homogeneous mixture has only one phase, because the constituent particles are not divided by any boundaries. Now let us come to the second type, that is heterogeneous mixture. Heterogeneous mixture. A mixture is said to be heterogeneous if its composition is not uniform throughout. Let me write its definition. A mixture is said to be heterogeneous if its composition is not uniform throughout. यानी कि जो एक हेटेरोजीनियस मिक्सचर होता है, इसके जो कंपोनेंट्स होते हैं वो इक्वली अरेंज्ड नहीं होते हैं. दे आर नॉट इक्वली अरेंज्ड एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड. सपोज अगर हम एग्जांपल लेंगे, इफ वी विल टुक द एग्जांपल ऑफ a day-to-day life example, oil in water, a simple example of heterogeneous mixture. जब हम एक गिलास में वाटर लेंगे और इसमें हम ऑयल ऐड करेंगे, we will put some drops of oil in it and we will stir it. What will happen? The oil will get deposited at the surface. ऑयल की कंसंट्रेशन कहाँ पे रहेगी? सरफेस पे. बलक में क्या रहेगा? खाली वाटर पार्टिकल्स. यानी कि इस जो हेटेरोजीनियस मिक्सचर होता है, इसमें जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट पार्टिकल्स है वो इक्वली अरेंज्ड नहीं होते हैं. दे आर नॉट इक्वली अरेंज्ड. यहाँ पे जब हमने ऑयल ऐड किया एक वाटर के गिलास में, ऑयल विल बी डिपॉजिट oil will get deposited at the surface of the water and its concentration will be more at the surface and its concentration will be zero at the bottom. That is why we say that its composition is not uniform. We don't have any uniform composition in the heterogeneous mixture. The second point is the components of heterogeneous mixture are visible with the naked eye. Components, this is the second point. Components of heterogeneous mixture are visible with naked eye, or at least under a microscope. क्योंकि सेम एग्जाम्पल, जब हमने ऑयल ऐड किया, you can clearly see the individual particles of oil at the surface of the glass of a water and you can clearly see the water. So यहाँ पे हम जो constituent particles होते हैं, जो दिस मिक्सचर के, किस मिक्सचर के? हेटेरोजीनियस मिक्सचर के, वो हम अपनी आंखों से देख सकते हैं. क्योंकि यहाँ पे ये यहाँ पे अनइवन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन होती है, यहाँ पे इक्वल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन नहीं होती है. दैट इज वाई वी से दैट, दिस इज द थर्ड पॉइंट, वी से दैट a heterogeneous mixture has two or more than two distinct phases, have two or more than two distinct phases, because the constituent particles are divided by the boundaries. यहाँ पे ऑयल की अलग लेयर आपको मिलेगी और वाटर की यहाँ पे अलग लेयर मिलेगी. The constituent particles are divided. We have two phases here, one of oil and the second one of water, because constituent particles are divided by the boundary. जहाँ पे एक लाइन मिलेगी आपको, एक बाउंड्री मिलेगी, ऊपर के सतह में आपको ऑयल मिलेगा और नीचे के सतह पे आपको खाली वाटर मिलेगा. That is why we say a heterogeneous mixture has two or more than two distinct phases. In the example we can have also, in the example of heterogeneous mixture we have smoke, that is carbon plus air, carbon particles plus air. We have this gunpowder, that is carbon plus sulfur plus potassium nitrate. This is gunpowder. We can have so many examples in this category, heterogeneous mixture. What is air? Air is basically, if we see, air is a homogeneous mixture. But if we took the dust particles into our consideration, then air does not remain as a homogeneous. It becomes heterogeneous. Now, I will simply say you one question, that is, what is milk? Is it homogeneous mixture or heterogeneous mixture? You can comment your answer. Now let us see practically what is homogeneous mixture and what is heterogeneous mixture. I have a glass of water, and in another glass I have food color. I will add few drops of food color in a water, and I will stir it. This became a mixture. Now, can you distinguish individual food color particles from water, or can you distinctly see the water? Seems like we can't, because the food color particles have uniform distribution in the water. The food color particles have uniform distribution, so it has uniform composition. You can clearly see there is a single phase. You can't see individual particles with the naked eye. So this solution is called homogeneous mixture because it has uniform composition. I have another example. I have a glass of water, I have some oil. I will drop oil in the water to make a heterogeneous mixture. I will stir it. This is also a mixture. You can clearly see two parts, one of oil and another of water. This mixture has two distinct phases. You can clearly see with your naked eye the oil layer and the water. So this mixture has uneven distribution. This does not have uniform distribution of this oil particles. So this mixture is heterogeneous mixture because it does not have this uniform composition. It does not have uniform distribution of oil particles. It has distinct phases, two distinct phases, one of oil and one of water. So both these are mixtures, but this one is homogeneous and this one is heterogeneous, because this mixture has uniform distribution of this food color particles, so uniform composition. This does not have uniform distribution of oil particles, so it does not have uniform composition. So this solution is homogeneous. This mixture is homogeneous mixture, and this mixture is heterogeneous mixture. Thank you.